Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you something really quick because this is kind of a desperate attempt to get a video out, right? My apologies on this, everyone. So, I started just kind of playing around with my dial sign, right? And so I will confess, doing this rod thing, that was something I kind of had to do off camera because there was a lot of stuff involved with it. So, but I didn't want to bore you with the details either, okay? So, what I did was that I took these two objects here. Well, and I also did this as well. So what I did was I duplicated some faces and then scaled them down. And I'm just going to tab into edit mode just to show you what I'm doing here, okay? So this object right here is the rod. And then we have the dial right here. And then this is just some of the faces that I decided to keep while I'm doing edit mode on the actual like housing of it, right? So what I did was that if we go into wireframe, you'll see on the rod, not this one. Let's see, let's do this. There we go. On the rod, I had this set up so that I could pull this out and then it would come up right up to here and snug it up, right? Then I also wanted to have it so that it would be kept in this spot so that we could stop it against the wall and that both pieces could be locked. But if we pulled it out of here, then it would unlock it from this position right here. So this should take care of the situation of having a locking mechanism, right? So that is the end goal for that. So it's kind of like a plunger rod type of a situation with a locking mechanism. So if I get out of there, go back into the solid, then you'll see that I have this part, which will be controlled by the rod. And then I have this other part here, which is just the housing for everything. It holds it all together, right? Then we got our legs. So, it's pretty easy there. So now, what I can do is that I can have this object controlling what this object does as I'm going to be real-time editing stuff, okay? So, so what I want to do is I just want to focus on rotating this so that I can put my signage on with this object, okay? So maybe I don't have to do that, but I kind of want to do that, just to demonstrate what I'll do. So I'm going to take this object, go to this, and I'm going to do Control P. We'll say Object. All right. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to get some signage going right here. So it's going to say free, and on the other side, when I turn it over, it would say busy, right? So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple loop cuts because I want to be able to control how the geometry is going to be affected after I do, say, like a Boolean modifier, right? So I'm going to take this over. I'm going to put one here and one right here for the loop cuts. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to take these faces right here. And then what I'll do is that I will solidify them. I don't want to extrude them, okay? And I may find out that I was not the smartest when I make that decision here. I've been kind of going back and forth between the extrude and the solidify. Okay? So we'll do Control F, solidify faces. And I'll do it at -1. 1. Okay. So now, let's see how these look as far as the geometry goes here. So, okay. For the moment, that looks pretty good. I may find out in another moment that that was not a good idea. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going to take these 4 faces and delete them. Okay. Okay, now what I want to do next is I want to take all these edges by pressing 2 on the numbers. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, Alt, Alt. Okay, do all these here. And I don't know why that deselected there, but you know what? Now we got them all. Now we're going to do Shift E, 1. There we go. All right. And then what I can do with that is that I can take the text and extrude it from here. Okay. Now I can see some weird stuff happening with artifacts here, okay? So I want to make sure that all my stuff here is correctly normaled. So Shift N. And I also want to make sure I remove any doubles. So I'll do M by distance. Okay, so, and I'm seeing some weird stuff going on here. And I can still do some control edge loops if I need to. So, because if I do this, okay. Oh yeah, I can also change my shading mode here. It's not going to make a difference on what's going to happen on the end result, but yep, let's see. Okay, we're going to shade flat. Alright, so that didn't exactly do a whole lot there. Okay, so then what you need to do is find out if there's anything weird going on with, you know, like any of the other geometry. So typically what I like to do is kind of flex my geometry while I'm doing this, just to see if something got doubled up for some reason. I can also go into my local mode. Okay. Now if I do a control loop right there, then let's take a look. Still showing some weird stuff. And I can also take this and crease it. So, now let's see what it does there. Okay, that's better. Now it's showing up a little bit better. Okay, and here's my drum. Okay. I can actually get rid of this one right here. Saying delete that edge loop. Alright, that looks better. I like it. Okay, we'll get out of that. Okay, so like I say, this is a really hurried tutorial on this. So, so I'll still be doing like updates, but this is a quick one that I did. Okay. So, anyway, keep up with the progress that I'm doing here, and let me know in the comments what you think of all this that I'm doing. And thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching Nathan's 3D Factory.